My ex lied to a judge and said I was violent. She won full custody, then disappeared. Last week, she showed up at my door sobbing. Mira stood in that courtroom and told the judge I grabbed her by the throat and threw her against a wall. She had photos of bruises I never gave her. Her sister testified and said she saw the whole thing. The judge looked at me like I was garbage and awarded Mira full custody of our 5-year-old daughter, Ren. Supervised visits only. I begged my lawyer to do something. He said without witnesses, it's her word against yours, and the court believed her. 2 weeks after the ruling, Mira moved. No forwarding address. I showed up for my first supervised visit, and the center said she never scheduled anything. I called her phone. Disconnected. I drove to her mother's house and knocked for 10 minutes. Her mom finally opened the door and said, Mira told me what you did. Don't ever come here again. I said I never touched her. She slammed the door in my face. My lawyer filed a motion for contempt. Mira didn't show up to court. The judge issued a warrant, but nothing happened. Months passed. I kept paying child support, even though I had no idea where my daughter was. My lawyer said, if you stop paying, it looks like you gave up. That's the last thing you want on record. I spent my savings hiring a private investigator. He found an old address in another state, but Mira had already moved again. Every lead went cold. I called Ren's old pediatrician and asked if they had any recent records. The receptionist said, I can't give you that information. You're listed as a restricted contact. Mira had told them I was dangerous too. The first Christmas without Ren, I sat in her room holding her stuffed elephant and cried until I couldn't breathe. I had bought her a purple bicycle. It sat in my garage for 3 years. Every birthday, I added another wrapped present to the pile. I met Celia at a grief support group. Her husband had passed away the year before. One night she asked why I was there. I said my daughter was taken from me, and I don't know if I'll ever see her again. She held my hand and said, that's a different kind of grief, but it's still grief. You belong here. We got married 2 years later. When our son, Theo, was born, I held him in the hospital and thought about Ren. She was 8 years old now. She probably didn't remember what my voice sounded like. Last Tuesday, Theo was eating cereal at the kitchen table when the doorbell rang. Celia answered it. Then she called my name in a voice I didn't recognize. Mira was standing on my porch. Her clothes were wrinkled. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Ren was next to her, holding a backpack, staring at the ground. I looked at my daughter and almost didn't recognize her. She was way too thin. Mira started talking before I could say anything. I need you to take her. Things got really hard after Garrett left. I lost my apartment. I'm staying with my cousin, but she doesn't have room for both of us. I looked at Ren. She still wouldn't look up. Celia stepped forward. You destroyed his life with lies. Now you show up asking for help? Mira said I did what I had to do to protect myself, but I can't take care of her right now. Just take her until I get back on my feet. I kneeled down in front of Ren. Sweetheart, do you remember me? She finally looked up. Her eyes were exactly like mine. She whispered, you're my real dad. Mom said you were in prison. She said you hurt people. I never hurt anyone. I've been looking for you for 3 years. Ren's voice got smaller. She said if I ever tried to find you, bad things would happen to me. I looked up at Mira. What did you do to her? Mira rolled her eyes. I kept her safe. She's fine. Are you going to take her or not? Ren reached into her backpack and pulled out a stack of papers. She held them out to me. I wrote you letters every birthday. Mom threw them away, but I found them in the trash and kept them. I took the letters. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold them. Ren said, I told the school counselor about the letters last month. Mom got really mad. She said I ruined everything. I stood up and looked at Mira. Get off my property. Mira's face twisted. You can't just take her. I have custody. Celia pulled out her phone. You violated a court order for 3 years. You told your daughter her father was in prison. Leave now, or I'm calling the police. Mira stared at us for a long moment. Then she turned and walked to her car without saying goodbye to Ren. That night, Ren slept in the room I'd kept ready for her. The purple bicycle was still in the garage. The presents were still wrapped. My lawyer said Mira won't get custody back.